It's just another Manic Monday. Wish it were Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day, where I don't have to run day. It's just another Manic Monday. Definitely true today. Wowzers. So it is 11:07 on Monday, October 9th. Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day. We started a new round of math interventions, and I have the high kids, which I mentioned before. And so when I got in today, I had to make copies for the activities today, because we played. Let me see if I can find it. First we did the little, I don't know, but I've been told ones are small and tens are bold. First you count up all the tens and add the ones onto the end. So they knew the order of the numbers. Then we did, let me find it, it's in my pile here. Oh, for Pete's sakes. We did this, where we rolled 2 dice, wrote the numbers in the boxes, then put them together to make a 2-digit number. Then we did Grandma's Place Value Quilt, where they had to follow the directions, and it says, if there's a 5 in the ones place, color the square blue. There's a 2 in the ones place, color the square pink. There's a 1 in the ones place, color the square green. If there is a 9 in the tens place, color the square yellow. So this one was yellow, and it had like blue and green and pink on the inside. It was really pretty when they got done with it, and that we had just enough time for almost everyone to finish it, because I have the high kids, and they're speedy quick. They were like, this is easy. I'm like, well, yay, good. So they have had, some of them, not all of them, have had double-digit addition in the other enrichment group that met before this one. And so a lot of them were in the same group. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I wanted to give a little background on place value so it was easier. So we're going to do one more, like a place value game tomorrow. Place value bingo. I just copied that. So let me see if I can grab that and show you. It's the dice in dice game that I showed you on the computer last night, but it looks like this. It's by this lady. It was totally free. So if you want to check it out, there it is. I just looked up place value games on Pinterest and found it. It has directions, like what to print, what materials you need. There's enough for a 4-player game, or you can do up to 4 players. So I've got the game boards. They're all like player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. There. So each of the kids gets their own game board. They all get their own paper. You can use the dice and dice. Shake them up. I'll go get those. Okay, here's my weird dice container here. This used to have like potato salad in it or something a long time ago. And there's some random stuff in here too. Like, apparently I did some graphing with this at the beginning of a school year at one point. How do you get home, by car or by bus? Okay, these are cool too, but that's another story. Let me get those out of there. These are 3 dice inside for triple-digit addition, which is super cool. Okay, and I have a 12-sided die. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 of these. Yes. Well, there's my alarm for heating my lunch, which I don't need to heat because I brought chicken salad to scoop on my Parmesan crisps, which I've had before, and I've showed you that. It's really tasty. And then I'll have lunch for tomorrow and probably the next day. Okay, these are the dice and dice. Aren't they cute? Come in different colors. There's a yellow one and a purple one. So 5, oh, there's a clear one too. So 6 colors and a random plastic penny, because who doesn't need a plastic penny in their lives? All right. So here are the different colors of the dice. Oh. Anyway, it doesn't matter the colors. I'm going to pick just green because green's my favorite. So there's a tiny little die inside there, and you just, or you can actually just kind of roll it on a nice soft surface like a carpet or a rug. And then whatever comes on top, that's the number that I tell the kids to use. So I've got a 2 and a 1. So I could make 21 or I could make 12 on my little thingy here. So whatever number I get there, then I'll look for that on my board and color it in. You can print these out like in color. These are colorful. They're very pretty, but they don't do well when they have to get, you need 36 little counter pieces to cover up each thing. You do the math. 36 times 17 kids is a lot of little pieces to keep track of. So no, we're going to use crayons. And then they can't lose that. and they don't get knocked off their board, because kids, you know, are floppy and they knock things over. Just kind of, I'm floppy and I knock things over, and I'm not a kid. So anyway, that's those. But you could totally use, and I'm probably going to not use these, because, yeah. Plus, I'm responsible for getting the materials for another class set of this whole teaching 2 weeks thing. And so I am not going to send these with someone else because they were too expensive for that. I'll use them for my class, but I'm not going to let them out of my room. These are really cool. I think they're 12-sided. That's really cool for certain games for your higher kids. And then these have the 3 dice in them, which I told you. And I use these for Dr. Seuss Week because I have a 3-digit fish game, I think, where I made fish shapes and they had to write the 3 numbers in the fish whenever we do triple-digit addition. Not 3-number addition, not triple-digit. They're not adding hundreds. But anyway, so those go in my special little dice thing inside my big dice thing. There's Lamp. The kids are always just like, oh my gosh, those are the coolest thing ever. I think I better put these back in here because I'm afraid I'll remember they were in here and I'll forget where they were. Anyway, it's in the math stuff, so that's important. Okay, so I've got this whole dealie for my little partner person that's doing this with me. And I've copied my Columbus Day books. I just need to cut them apart because I don't have a paper cutter down here. I'm eating my super healthy Pop-Tarts because I haven't had anything to eat today. Because who has time? So I think I'm going to stay in my room for lunch today just so I can get stuff done because I have a to-do list. Very long. Most of it is like copying this stuff for the rest of the week and possibly for stuff for next week too. Most of it's this week though, because I had the Columbus Day books that I already printed, and the rest of them are on the copier because they weren't quite finished. It ran out of paper, so I ran out there. I'm like, oh, you're not done. That doesn't look like enough papers because I have 2 books. So we're going to read one on the board, have a full-size color version of a different book. We'll read that. Then we're going to read the 2 little books, and they'll take those home for homework. And then I have comprehension questions. So we'll do that together, and that'll take up, sorry, I was talking behind you. That will take up the whole half hour, I'm sure, 30, 35 minutes of time that we have for social studies today. So that'll be good. And that's during writing time because we have Healthy Heritage today. Excuse me. But I don't think we're going to go outside just because my knee's been bothering me, and that's a long walk, either place that we go. So we'll just stay here and do Go Noodle because it's just easier and keeps the kids contained. And like I've said before, if someone tries to get picked up early, they're gone and it's hard to get them back and stuff. So I need to figure out another time of the day that we can do Healthy Heritage where we can actually leave the building and go somewhere else. But we're just making this work for now. So I didn't get to talk to you this morning when I first got here because I had a bajillion copies to make. Because normally I have myself together, but I had to come up with all the interventions things for the next 2 weeks over the weekend. I mean, I could have done 1 week at a time, but I don't want to have to do this every weekend. I want to plan for the 2 weeks of interventions and move on. I think we need to figure out what we're going to be like ahead of time, like way ahead of time, like now. Figure out what the next intervention groups are going to be. We don't know what kids will be in each group, but we'll know we won't have any more than 20 in a group. And we can find out what we're going to be teaching so we can get our materials ready ahead of time, not the day before like I did. I started looking for stuff on Saturday, but I was busy Saturday. Like I was trying to have a life. Sorry. And then yesterday, you know, I felt like crud. And so it made it harder to think about how things would work. But these kids, these are the super high kids, the kids that totally get all the addition, all the subtraction concepts, rock the Go Math concepts. They're like, totally get the critical thinking and all that. And so they're ready for different stuff. And they were like, oh, this is easy. This is easy. And I'm like, yes. I did status of the class today after I taught another lesson on doubles +1, but it was also doubles -1. And that one kind of threw them a little. So that may be, we're going to revisit that tomorrow. I didn't do the homework page. I never send the homework home with Go Math because it's hard for them to do it with me. I can't imagine them trying to go home and do it on their own. Some of them could, but many of them could not. So I'm not going to do that to the parents. Plus, a lot of times you don't know if how well the kids did it without help. So that doesn't really do you any good. It doesn't do any good at all. And sometimes, honestly, the parents just do it for them. They just tell them the answers, and it's worthless. I've had that conversation about homework before. And that's just how I feel about it. So the only thing that I really send home is reading. Reading, I think, they just have to take home because there's not enough time in the day to read enough of your book or books to progress quickly enough. So, yes, they'll be taking home 2 Columbus Day books after we've read them together, of course. They'll take them home, and that'll be homework. And then tomorrow, they'll take home their regular reading group books. So they're going to be taking home a book every day this week. Last week, they only took a book home twice because maybe just once. It might have just been once. I think Wednesday. I don't know. It might have been twice. I don't remember now. It seems like a long time ago with all the stuff that happened. So, yeah, they will have a book every night this week because we don't have any activities going on at night. So that's their only homework, the only thing they have to do, which will be good. So this will be today's. And then tomorrow, of course, they'll have their sight word book and then their reading group book, which, I mean, the books are really short. They take like 5-7 minutes to read. So they're going to have 15 minutes of homeworks tops. And that's if they are really slow. That's about right. I'd say 10 to 15 minutes in first grade is all you need for homework. If it's more than that, if it's taking them an hour, there's something going on. Something wrong. Either they have too much homework, the homework's too hard for them, or they're just goofing around. I don't know. Something's not happening. I got something on my fingernail. Ew. Hard telling. I'm always digging through stuff to get things. Blech. Anyway, I need to go get my kids, so I will chat with you at lunchtime. All right. I am back from getting my kids from art and depositing them at lunch. When we lined up to go to art, one of my boys had a Ziploc bag. He goes, "Is this enough lunch to not get a tray?" And I went, "Well, let me see what you have." And he had half of a sandwich. It was like a piece of bread folded over. I couldn't even tell what was inside it. And the honey bun. I went, I'm not sure that that's going to make you not hungry, sweetie. Do you think that's enough food for you? And he's like, I don't know. I said, "Did you bring anything to drink?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Let me check with the secretary and I'll get back to you." So I went upstairs and I said, "Is this guy on our free or reduced lunch program?" And it's one of those deals where it switches partway through the year. Like you have to reapply. Well, he wasn't on it right now. So I'm like, I can't let that little guy just have a sandwich and like half a sandwich, half a little sandwich and a honey bun to eat. And I'm like, I'm going to throw in some goldfish crackers or something for him. So I went and raided our snacks and made a baggie full of goldfish crackers to put in his lunch. So he had something else of substance. And they'll get him something to drink in the lunchroom. So, oh, that reminds me. One of my kids said that they needed a milk. They started doing the lunch count really weird this year to where, I mean, we've always marked who brings their lunch and who doesn't, so the cooks can know how many lunches to make up, basically. But then we have to ask the kids if they need a milk and if they brought money for the milk or if they're charging their milk. If they're charging their milk, then we got to mark that on this form. And then when our secretary goes to go through the lunch accounts, she can bill the appropriate accounts the right thing. And so sometimes I always ask the kids in the morning after they put their name up, "You're having a cold lunch. Did you bring something to drink?" And they're like, "Yes, no, whatever." So one kid on the way to the lunchroom says, "I need a milk. I need a milk." I'm like, okay, I'll try to remember that. So I put it on his thing. So that's taken care of. Ugh, goodness. I got some ice from the kitchen, so that I could fill my cup with water instead of just drinking iced coffee all day. Because I probably don't really need all the caffeine and sugar. So fill that little dude up, and I can just take that back to the kitchen when I go upstairs and grab some water out of my fridge. Oh my gosh, in the middle of math today, I just like swallowed wrong, and I was just like, ugh, and I could not breathe at all. I was like, ugh. I was turning red. I'm like, you know, I'm dying with choking. And the kids are like, I'm like, of course they're like, Miss Mom, Miss Mom. I'm like, I can't talk to you. I'm dying here. Give me a second. If I keel over, just kick me to the side and continue with math, please. Hopefully I don't spurt water everywhere. I tend to do that with this cup. I overfill it for the lid. That's fine. Okay, throw that. We'll throw the iced coffee in there too. I haven't drank very much of it, as you can see. And I didn't even eat the entire Pop-Tart. That's okay. Let's throw this in here. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling... Oh. Oh. Oh dear. the refrigerator door got hung up on my charging cord, so I had to fix that. And then my Terrific Kid posters went flying crazy, so. Okay. Put out those two little fires. I better put this over here so I don't forget it. Oh, I'm going to tell you the story behind. I cannot hold anything today. Put this on my coaster. Story behind these little lovely things. So these were in my treasure chest. They were given as prizes legitimately to two boys that filled up their work card. Cool. I always tell them, okay, look at it for a few minutes, squish it around a little bit, catch it a few times, then put it in your backpack. So later, like an hour later, I see these flying through the air. I'm like, didn't Mrs. Bun ask you to put those in your backpacks, boys? Oh, they had them in their pockets. Pockets, backpacks. Not even close to the same thing. Not like they misunderstood. Oh, I thought you said pocket or anything like that. I said, how about you let me hold on to those for you, please? So they handed it to me. Because if you remember a few weeks ago, we had the same issue with girls and lip gloss. The lip gloss was not put in the backpacks, nor was it put away at all. It was out in their pockets. And so, dealt with that the same way. I will just hold on to these for you. Of course, on Friday, they were like, can we have these back? And I said, can I trust you to put it in your backpacks this time? Yes. And so I did. And guess where they went? Yep, in the pockets. I went, okay. Mrs. Bond gave you another chance, and that didn't work well. So, excuse me, now Mrs. Bond needs to hold on to these because you're not following directions very well and listening. And that's not respectful now, is it? And they're like, no. Can we get them back? I went, probably. But you're going to have to earn my respect back and my trust, because were you being honest when you sneaked that into your pocket instead of putting it in your backpack that Mrs. Bond asked you to do more than one time? No. See, they know. They totally know. They just have to do it. So this morning, one of my boys goes, can we get our things back today? I said, probably. I said, why don't you remind me when it's time to pack later? Okay. Well, then I had to go, where did I put those? Because Friday, honestly, Friday was a long time ago. Friday was like forever ago for me. So I was like, uh-oh. So I just happened to open my drawer to get a pen out. There they were. I was like, whew. So glad I put them somewhere I could find them. So I stuck them on top of my desk by my phone so that I could find them when they pack it in the day. I'm cutting my Columbus Day books because we'll be doing that during writing time today. And then, so we're not going to get to finish our peanut butter and jelly writing until tomorrow, and then we'll get to start on the how to carve a pumpkin, which I hope they'll really, really like. And some of them are probably getting ready to go choose a pumpkin to carve, so it's good timing for that. And they should all have some experience in carving a pumpkin, I'm thinking. Most kids do, so that should be good. We do have a paper slicer way upstairs in the lounge, but then you have to schlep all your copies up there. This one kind of cut funny. Not cut funny, stapled funny. I'm not sure that's gonna... Well, that's interesting. Look at there. Make up your own story. I hope they're not all like that. Oh, good. Just that one. I think this one must have just printed funny. Well, that looks like one for the recycler. Okay, the rest of them are okay. I always make extras, so it's okay, but I have no extras. I do have one student gone, but I would like to have one for him. So I probably don't have one for me. That's okay. I can just use the one of the kid that's gone and then leave these for him for homework. So here is one book, Columbus Day. That was free from, I just looked up Columbus Day on Pinterest, Columbus Day printables, and then I found this other one. Another one. This is, one of them is called a guided reading book, and the other one was just a printable. Oh dear. So we won't be cutting this one because this one was made to copy double-sided and 2 on a page. This one was made to where you cut all the pages and assemble them. So this is just going to be one giant book, because I made that mistake one other time and I sliced all my books in half and went, oh no, now I gotta start over. Oh, so that means I need to go make 10 more of these because I only made 10 because I was thinking they were doubles. I better go do that. I'll be back. Alrighty, I got that run through the copier and it's copying away happily. I have about 12 minutes before I need to pick up my kids. It just goes really fast, especially when you're running around. I wanted to show you the math game that we did during my normal math time, my Go Math time, after the Go Math time. Technically this was like extended learning time, I guess we'll call it.
2 times 2. I did
Can you watch it again?
I don't want the same. Let's roll it. That's 4 plus 4 plus 4.
You're not doing 4 4s. 2 4s. And then 1 more. 4 plus 4 plus 1. Okay, is it your turn, buddy? Go ahead and do it. It looks like you might need to do... Oh, no, you've got 2, don't you? You've got 2 on your... So he's got 3 in his turn, right? All right.
What's 6 plus 7?
6 plus 7 was 6 plus 6 plus 1 more. 6 plus 6? You got it. You got it. Oh, yeah, you got it. Rainbows. Oh, you guys both chose green again. Yeah, I love that. The secret colors looking too.
You're changing my colors.
You are? Whoa. Ooh, look at your little starbursts. Pretty, pretty.
I got a bingo right now.
So wait, what happened to your finger?
I painted it last
Oh
night.
my goodness, it's so fancy.
I put my name of my finger at home.
You did. Oh my goodness. Crazy time. I also did, I don't think I have any right here. It was a doubles plus 1, like lift the flaps kind of thing. Just like I did the doubles one with the other group. It's on the board, but it's way over there. So it's where you fold the paper in half, lengthwise, hot dog style, and they cut the little strips. And then when you flip it open, it's like 1 plus 2, and then you flip it open, you put 3. You put the answer underneath the flap all the way down. It goes all the way to 10 plus 11. So we did that first, and I had them keep that in their school box so they could use that later. And then I taught the math lesson, which was doubles plus 1 and doubles minus 1, which the doubles plus 1, I think they sort of get, but the doubles minus 1 kind of makes them go, which is why I did status of the class. I think I started to mention that earlier and then had to go. So status of the class is like, I totally get it. I don't have any problems. I'm doing great. I could do this on my own. This is like, I sort of get it, but I'm a little confused. I might need a little help. And this is, I am so lost. I don't know what's going on. So I have the little posters up on my wall over there that I've shown before. I can show you again. So it's those posters right there. The green is I get it. The sideways red is I'm not sure. And then the blue is I'm totally lost. Okay, so I said, okay, we're going to do status of the class today. And it's been so long since we've even looked at those posters that I had to explain it all over again. But I did. And I said, okay, and when you put your thumb by your heart, when I say status of the class, you show me how you're feeling about this math lesson. And I had probably 5 that were good, solid. I totally get it. I'm good. And I had told them, we did the on your own page. And normally I will say, okay, we're on the on your own page. That means you do it by yourself and they will check it later. And they go ahead and just work on it. And I go around and I look and see if they're having trouble and I help people that are confused and lost and whatever. I said, if you are very confident and you understand this and you can do it without any help, you can just continue on. Just don't have to wait for me. Just go ahead and do it. If you're not sure and you're a little confused, you're a little lost, you want some help, then we'll do it all together. So those of you that want to do it together, listen to me and we'll go step by step through it. But if you, I got crumbs everywhere, want to go ahead because you got it and it's just no problem, just go ahead and finish it. So I had about 5, like I said, that just went on. But the rest of the class, the other 14, because I do have 1 absent today, and I think he probably would have gotten it. He's pretty high in math. They were like, I said, well, that's why we're like this or like this, because, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you learn. So we want everyone to go from this or this to this. We want to go from this to this. So they thought that was silly. Anyway, I said, that's my job. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you get from I'm confused, I don't understand, to hey, I get this. This makes sense to me. I can do this. That's my job. That's why we practice stuff. So they did that, and they still were just kind of like, meh. That's why I did the on your own page as not an on your own page, because I feel like the doubles plus 1 strategy, they just kind of fly through that in the math book. And it's kind of a hard concept for some kids to wrap their heads around. And I did tell them the whole thing about, you know, you can tell it's a doubles plus 1 because when the numbers are right next to each other, like on a number line, like if you have 3 plus 4, if you see two numbers together that are in the order like when you would count, if they would come next to each other when you count, that's a doubles plus 1. So like 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 2, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, like that. And they're like, oh. I said, then when you see those, you just take the smaller number, double it, and add 1 more. And that's the answer. And they're like, oh, cool. Which they totally understood doubling because we had done several dice games, or die games, where they rolled the die, doubled that number, and colored in. Well, this game was the same thing as that, but then they had to add 1 more. So they doubled the number that they got on their die, then they added 1 more, and they found that answer, the sum, and they colored it in. And we played blackout again because it takes longer and they have to do more equations that way. Plus, they think it's super cool to do blackout because it's like fancy or something. I don't know. Works for me. So, they really, really like this. We'll play this again tomorrow because I made like 40 copies of it. So I got a whole pile of that. And, like I said, this afternoon we'll do Columbus Day. The projectable book we'll read together, and then I'll hand out, actually I'll have my supply clerk hand out the other books, and we'll read those, and then we'll do the comprehension questions, and then we'll pack. And those 2 little paper books will be homework. We'll also be doing reading groups, of course, where we do our sight words and our letter sounds for the lower groups. The higher groups, I think I'm gonna give them their next book because they're ready. And I don't remember which the next book is. I think it might be chunks. I think it's endings, word endings. I'll look on my list because I have an order that I go through to do them. But my group number 1, which is my lowest group, I have kids that don't know all their letters and sounds still, even though we work on them every day. And some of them go to a reading teacher and they work on them every day too. So it's just going to take them a little more time. They need to see it as much as possible. So we'll just keep plugging away. I'm going to have to start testing everything next week because the conferences are the week after that. Conferences are the 24th and 26th. And the 26th is an early out day because we have conferences the rest of the day. So Tuesday is going to be my super long day on the 24th because we have a normal school day, and then at 4 o'clock conferences start, and they go till 7 or 8. Might be 8. I'll have to look. It's either, I think it's till 8, which makes a really long night. And then on Thursday we dismiss. It used to be noon. It says noon dismissal on all of our scheduling stuff. Except they're like, nope, it's 12:20 this year. Well, who picked random 12:20? I don't know. So it's 12:20, and then we start conferences at 1. And teachers are supposed to be able to eat lunch between 12:20 and 1. Don't know how that's going to happen, but whatever. PTA always brings lunch for us PTA provides dinner for us on the night conferences, and then usually, in the past, previously, the principal/principals have provided lunch for us on the early out day, which is usually hamburgers and hot dogs and then chips and drinks and whatever. And if I do that, I will just bring it down to my room and just kind of nibble on it because parents come early and then you're just like, hello, you know, you're not down there because you're still eating your lunch because they're way too early, or you have your mouth full of food, which is not pleasant either. I just dropped part of my Pop-Tart. I'm going to finish this last little bite of Pop-Tart. I'm going to go up and get my kids, and we're going to do round 2 of our day. So I'll check with you later. Hi there. My kiddos are at recess for another couple minutes, and then I'll go get them. We did read our Columbus book on the board, and we also read the 2 little paper books, and they are busily working on coloring them and illustrating them. I think I'll let them work on them for about another 10 minutes, and then we will put that away, and we'll pack for the day, and we'll do some Go Noodle for the rest of the day because they need it. They need it, apparently. One of my little guys is just beside himself all day long today. Like, it's just gotten progressively worse. He's just gotten very upset about really tiny things, and I just don't know what to do with him. I'm just like talking really calmly to him and saying, it's okay. What's the matter? Let me see if I can help you. He went and hid kind of behind the basket of rugs that I let the kids use to sit on. He's just hiding back there. And this other kid was kind of tormenting him a little bit. Just like, you know how brothers and sisters are like, I'm not touching you. That kind of a thing. But like up in his space, like up in his bubble of space. And I said, honey, do you think you could move away from him so that he doesn't get upset with you anymore? Could you just find another workspace, please, so he's not grouchy with you? And he's like, okay. Because he was being kind of a twerp, and he knew it, but I was trying to be nice about it. So he moved over. And then when we lined up for recess, I told the kids they could just leave their things on the floor. We would come back to it after recess. I let them work a little bit longer because they didn't get very much coloring time. And they really, honestly, they need that. They need that. It's like therapeutic and also fine motor skills. A lot of kids, they don't get enough time to color and cut. So I try to do a little bit of that. I don't get to do very much, but we'll do some. And, sorry, I'm checking my time because I don't want to be late to pick them up. Oh, I've got 5 minutes because I think my clock over there is a little bit fast. So I don't have to pick them up till 5 till, and it's 1:45. So, no, I have to pick them up 10 till. I mean, I have 5 minutes left. Yeah. Anyway, my little guy's kind of just, everything's bothering him. Everything's upsetting him. I don't know if he just doesn't feel good today or if he's really tired. I kind of think he's tired because he's just kind of, everything is just whew, a big disaster for him today. I took the class to the recess doors, and we were just a tiny bit early, like a minute. And I always tell my kids, if you'd like to use the restroom and get a drink, you may go, and then just line up when you're done, and we'll go outside. And so my terrific kid was waiting for the whistle to blow so that he could take the class out when the other classes lined up. So it was our turn to go out. And my kid that's kind of having a rough day comes up and goes, I was in the classroom. And I said, so you mean you didn't line up with the class when I asked you to line up with your group? No, I was mad. I said, but does that mean that you don't line up when you're asked to line up just because you're mad? I didn't want to go to recess. I said, you don't have that option, friend. When the teacher says you need to get in line, then you need to get in line because we're going somewhere. And you don't have that option to choose not to go with your class. And we've discussed this over and over. So that's really not okay. Not okay at all. So he was like, but I was mad at them. And I said, can you just find a way to not be by them, please? Find a way to make it work where you're following my directions, but you're staying away from people that are irritating you. I just kind of put that on him because he can walk 2 feet behind our class if he has to, or walk next to me, whatever. He can solve this problem. It's not a huge, hairy deal. So I think he realized, oh, that was not a smart idea because we've talked about why you need to stay in line and why you need to be with your class and why you can't lollygag around and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about that before. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully recess, he ran some of that energy, grouchiness. Maybe he's hangry. Maybe he needs a snack. I don't know. I just ate a tiny bit of my crackers and chicken salad stuff. Just like 4 crackers, I think, and I had 2 grapes. Wow. And I've had 1 whole Pop-Tart all day. I'm just not that hungry. Just the stress of all the crap, really. Just to be honest, the stress of the crap that's been going on. Just the same old stuff. And I'm just having a hard time working around it and working through it and making it work in my brain and my teacher heart. So anyway, I'll get through it somehow. Yeah. Not to be a downer, but the day is almost at an end. Woo! So that will be good. I think my daughter's boyfriend, I almost said my girlfriend's, what the heck? Yeah, I need to get out of here. I think my daughter's boyfriend may come with us after school to run a couple errands. We need to run to Walmart and drop off a few prescriptions and then drop something off at the post office. My daughter sells things on Poshmark, and so she's got something ready to go to them. I think I cracked a nail. Sad. May have to redeem a thumb. Thumb buddy wasn't being very careful. And then after that, we'll go back to Walmart and hopefully pick up our prescriptions because they are notoriously slow at filling prescriptions once you have dropped them off. I don't want to hang around Walmart waiting for them. That's just not fun because it's not a super center. You can't like get your grocery shopping done. It's a regular Walmart. So just regular Walmart stuff in there. And it's about time for me to go get the kiddos. I have another like 30 seconds so I can talk. And then I think we'll bring the boyfriend home and they can play Nintendo and stuff and she can kill him in Super Mario Brothers. And I'm making spaghetti and meatballs tonight with homemade breadsticks. Yum. So that will be tasty and yummy. Maybe we could pick out some cottage cheese. My husband really likes cottage cheese with spaghetti and meatballs. So that would make him super happy. And I want to think of some kind of dessert thing. I was thinking about making pumpkin bars. Those are so good. Pumpkin bars with the cream cheese icing because that's super healthy. I've just been wanting those because it's starting to feel like fall finally. Okay, I will probably chat with you after school, so I'm going to go pick up my kids and talk to you later. Hi, I'm back home. It is about 5:30. I'm getting ready to make pumpkin bars. My spaghetti and meatballs are doing their thing over here on the stove. Meatballs and water for the penne pasta. And I've got my breadsticks cut apart. That was the last dough ball of my homemade pizza dough that I showed you making, I don't know, probably a month ago now, maybe. It makes 4 dough balls, so that's really nice. Makes really good breadsticks. So I'll bake those for about 7 minutes probably at 450, and then I will melt some butter with fresh pressed garlic in it and mix it up, and then brush it over the top of it, and then sprinkle it with Parmesan. So good. And then dip it in spaghetti sauce. Really, really good. So, to make these yummy pumpkin bars, I've got my handy dandy, whoops, there we go, mixer already with 2 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, which I don't have cloves, so but they're really good in there. I just ran out. 4 beaten eggs, raw chow, a 16-ounce can of pumpkin, and you need a cup of cooking oil. I use canola, and then cream cheese frosting. Yum. Yummy, yummy. It makes the house smell like fall, and it tastes like fall. So yum. So I'm going to mix this up, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, the dry ingredients are mixed. I'm going to stir the eggs in. Pour those in there. Scoop as much as I can in there. And then we're going to put in the pumpkin and the oil. Let me get my oil out. A cup of oil. Measure that up. Pour that in there. I think I'm covering you up. And well, hold my spatula. Scoopy the. Get rid of that thing. Scoop the pumpkin. Let's put it in the in the measuring cup. Yeah, I'm okay. Scoop the pumpkin in there. Smells good. Smells pumpkin-y. I was going to film my reading groups today, and I just didn't grab my camera, so I might do that tomorrow, because pretty soon I'll be testing them. That won't be very exciting to watch. I guess I could do that, but I don't think I feel comfortable doing that, even though you don't know who the kid is. Yeah. So I've got the can of pumpkin, the 4 eggs beaten, and the oil. I'm going to stir that until it's combined. I'm a big believer in cleaning up as you go, so you don't have a big mess to clean up later. I've got my cream cheese over here on the counter, cooling. Yeah, because it was warm. No, coming to room temperature, so that, let me get you up here a little bit more. Yeah, so that it will be easier to. Sorry for the jiggles. My goodness, it will be easier to stir together. All right. Okay, unplug this and go get my pan. I'll be right back. All right, we are ready to pour the pumpkin-y goodness into our big pan. Dump it in there. Oh, it smells so good. Get back, sweetheart. Back, back. Back. Girl. Get back, baby. Probably not the smartest thing. Probably should have gotten the biggest one I own, but whatever. Okay. The biggest one would not have fit in the pumpkin can, so. I always grease it a little because I'm afraid it's going to burn. Oh, that was my husband. He is on his way. Okay, and then I can just kind of do a little shaky shake. And it should be fairly level when you do that. Okay, this bakes at 350 for an hour. So, put that in. Oops. the breadsticks first. Yeah. Okay, I had set the oven for 450 for the breadsticks, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I turned the temperature down to 350, but it'll take a while for it to get down to that temperature. So while it's cooling, I put the breadsticks in so they can bake. My husband just called, said he's on his way, so they'll be done a little bit before he gets home, but I can kind of keep them warmish. It'll be okay. We can reheat them a little bit too. It won't make them taste bad. I might put a little bit of mozzarella on there too with the garlic butter and the Parmesan. That would be tasty. Cheese and breadsticks. That'd be really yummy as a side. So I have to wait a little bit to put these yummies in. So in order to avoid kitty tongues, we need to put them somewhere safe, like in the pantry. Okay, so the pumpkin bars are out and they're cooling on top of the washer because it's away from the cats and it's cooler in there. Oh, my tea's ready. There. And I have put in my mixer a block of cream cheese, an 8-ounce block, a stick of butter, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to cream them together. While that's going, I will show you the aftermath of supper. These are all the dishes that I washed. The pasta pot, the meatball pot, the 2 lids, the strainer, the breadstick pan. Yes, took a lot of dishes. All the other dishes are in the dishwasher. After this is creamed together, then we're going to add the 4.5 cups of sifted powdered sugar. You only want to add about half of it at a time, otherwise it just makes a big poofy mess and it taxes your mixer too much. So I added 2 cups and I'm going to add another 2.5 cups, and then you might need to put just a tiny bit of milk to thin it just a little because you want it creamy and smooth. Here's what it looks like so far. Okay, you can see how super thick it is. It's just hanging off the beater and it's really thick inside the bowl. So I'm just going to add a little bit of milk to it. Just like a splash. And then we'll see what happens. Pretty good. Looking pretty whippy. Okay, let's see what we got now. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. It'll be maybe a tiny bit more milk because you don't want to rip your cake apart when you're putting it on there. Put a little bit more milk. You can just kind of eyeball it. And then do it. Kind of whip it. Alright. Yeah, that looks good. It pulled away from the beater really well, so I think it's going to be good. So I just have to wait for the pumpkin bars themselves to be cool enough to spread the frosting on. I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. See how creamy? Yeah, very creamy. Moment of truth. Tastes like fall. It's really good. I've been craving these, but I want it to be colder. It's finally getting colder. Hope you had a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.